All right, hey, happy New Year's to everybody here. This is Bobby Getchell here, and I've seen a lot of stuff on the model forums that I'm a part of about proper paint prep and how to make a nice paint job. You don't always have to use an airbrush to get a nice paint job. I see a lot of people that like to use Rust-Oleum and Krylon and Duplicolor and paints like that. And I know you can get a decent paint job with some of that stuff, especially if you put in the extra work. A lot of it does require extra work because a lot of times that paint lays down kind of thick, especially the Rust-Oleum and Krylon type paints. Those types of paints aren't really all that great for styrene plastic, and a large portion of that has to do with the fact that the spray nozzles on them have a very poor spray pattern. It's not. It's more suitable for like a large surface, like lawn chairs or you know a a porch railing or something large that you're trying to paint. That you're not going to see the small droplets or the orange peel on. But when you're looking at like 1/25th scale models, on the other hand, you want a glass smooth paint job that doesn't show any grain or any orange peel, and that's where these really come in handy if you really want to stick with spray paints. And honestly, this stuff is really fantastic. The Testors Extreme Lacquers are actually another really good small paint. Their spray pattern is definitely not as fine as the Tamiya stuff, although I've still had decent results with it. But the Tamiya stuff definitely has much better nozzles. So I actually have a couple of, well, I have at least one car here that I've done with some of this stuff. But anyway, so what we're working on tonight right now is this original issue 57 AMT Chevy Bel Air model kit that I'm doing. It's going to be kind of a wild custom show car. I've done a lot of work to this so far. You can see I've got a color sand coat on it, and I've done a lot of body work. It's got a custom cat eye front clip here, and custom rear roll pan. This is really of a kind of a difficult piece to really blend all that into the back end here. You can kind of see where the back end of the 57 Chevy originally stopped. And I've been using kind of a non-ideal filler for this. I've been using this Tamiya white Tamiya white putty here, which goes on very nicely. It dries really quickly. It's very sandable, but it also shrinks. This car I had originally done and then put a color coat on just to kind of see what it would do, and I let it sit for a couple of months, and I saw, as the Tamiya filler would shrink, and it left these kind of like small areas here, which I think I've got filled in. Tonight we're going to try to do, I've done some more filling, and I've let it dry, and I've done my sanding. Right now I think I've worked up to about 1,000 grit on most of the sanding here. I've got it nicely dusted off in my paint booth here. So I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to lay down a Tamiya fine surface primer. This stuff's great. Again, this is a thin coat primer and it shrinks, so it doesn't go on very thick. It's probably not ideal for doing heavy custom work where you really want to hide flaws, but it really helps you get really good at doing proper body work and surface prep before you lay down your paint, because if you want that really thin, just ultra glossy paint job where all your details show and it doesn't look like you painted it with furniture paint, this is the way to go. So I've had this can warmed up in warm water. It's up to room temperature, and I've got my spray booth here, and I know there's a lot of more advanced modelers out there, but this is kind of a demonstration here for some of the guys that might be a little bit newer to getting a really professional looking paint job out of a rattle can. So I'm gonna give some tips here. You're gonna shake your can up. This one's about 3/4 empty. You're gonna hold your can again, probably I like to do it between 4 and 8 inches from the car, depending on how thick I want it to go on. And you're not gonna do like one whole thing holding the nozzle down. You're gonna do a couple of passes like this. Now you'll rotate it, let that dry. You don't want to go on super thick at first. It's going to take a couple of coats to get this to fully cover everything. And you want it to dry nicely in between. So what we're going to do here, you notice that we're letting it, and this paint dries really quick because it's kind of a synthetic lacquer type of paint. So what we're going to do here is we're going to let this dry for probably about 10 minutes or so, and then we're going to come back to it with another video. We're going to do a couple more coats, we're going to build that up, do some sanding, and then we're going to lay down another color coat, and then we're going to see where the rest of our remaining flaws in our bodywork are, and see how much we have to sand back out of it, and go back from there.